In a heartfelt plea, she wondered, could love be held against her? A woman in her late 30s, successful in her career, she had managed to raise her kids alone. After her husband left, she seemed to have it all, everything but love. Lonely and yearning for a second chance, she was hopeful. A stranger's message on Facebook sparked joy within her. Could this be her chance at love again? As they chatted, a shocking detail emerged. He was a convict, still serving time. Somehow, he had access to a phone. Despite her initial shock, she softened, telling herself everyone deserves a second chance. Ignoring her doubts, she convinced herself he was worth the risk. After all, what's love without a leap of faith? Once he was released, they quickly married and moved in together. But soon, small unsettling signs emerged. Things that made her uneasy, nothing she could pinpoint. Until one quiet night, the house felt different. A neighbor reported hearing strange sounds, then a scream, and finally, a single gunshot. The police arrived swiftly, breaking through the door, rushing to the bedroom. They found a grim, haunting sight. Her husband, the man she'd taken a chance on, lay there, ending her life and his own dreams in one tragic act. This is the case of 𝐁𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐃. We extend our deepest condolences to 𝐁𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐃's family, friends, and well-wishers affected by this tragedy. This case takes us to Hoffman, North Carolina. Hoffman, known for its low crime rate, is generally peaceful compared to urban areas. Yet, economic hardships have led to fluctuations, particularly in property crime and occasional drug-related offenses. Homicides in Hoffman are rare. Kenesha Miranda Harrison Neely, born on March 25, 1986, lived much of her life in Rockingham, North Carolina. Known as a warm, caring individual, she made a strong impression on those around her. Her parents valued family togetherness. They instilled this in their children. Kenesha, blessed with 2 daughters, Aaliyah and Julia, ensured love and togetherness in their lives. It seemed she had a happy home with her kids, but reality was different. Kenesha raised them single-handedly after their father's abandonment. Kenesha was about to hit the jackpot. In 2019, during her routine Facebook browsing, her life took a dramatic turn. It all began when Kenesha received a message from a man named Sheldon Morris Neely, also known as Moses Chisholm. He appeared charming, not only in looks, but also with his words. In no time, they began conversing daily. Their conversations brought happiness to both, soon graduating to FaceTime calls. By then, Moses could claim to know Kenesha well. Kenesha felt the same. She believed Moses had shared every detail about himself, or so she thought. Moses seemed to reveal everything, but left out one crucial detail. That missing piece was the most important aspect of his life at the time. Moses, who promised Kenesha outings and treats, was actually a convict, charged with selling hard substances, abduction, robbery, and use of a firearm in a felony. As they talked, Moses was in jail, unbeknownst to Kenesha. Their communication was solely through Facebook as they continued to make promises to each other. However, as time passed, Kenesha began to wonder why these promises remained unfulfilled. She questioned the reasons for the delay. These persistent questions troubled Moses, leaving him no choice but to reveal the truth. He finally confessed to Kenesha that he was in jail. While this was a red flag, Kenesha's bond with Moses was strong. Despite knowing he was incarcerated, Kenesha accepted him. Moses was surprised by her acceptance, but she became an integral part of his prison journey. Kenesha explained her actions, saying, "He told me I threatened him to do right. He hit me up on Facebook, like, let me take you out." Fully aware of his incarceration, she allowed him to take her out on FaceTime, sending money and everything. Those virtual dates became their moments. Moses, who rarely had visitors, began receiving visits from Kenesha and her daughters. She wanted them to get used to their future father. Their emotional attachment deepened, with Kenesha becoming the most attached. This continued until something unusual happened. Moses decided to propose to Kenesha. Being a convict with an uncertain future, such a proposal was unexpected. Moses's proposal aimed to aid his parole consideration, exploiting the advantages of a legal marriage. Initially, Kenesha declined due to his incarceration, but after much thought and deliberation, she reconsidered, her heart tethered to a man confined by bars, yet entwined with hope and love. Kenesha convinced herself it was the right decision. She was more than happy to take up his last name. On December 17, 2021, the pair decided to tie the knot. The attendance wasn't filled with dignitaries or family members, as in a usual wedding ceremony. In fact, it was more of a few witnesses. Yet the marriage took place amidst uncertainties and a lot of frowned faces. It could be said that the only ones present were her children and Moses's inmate buddies. Contrary to what Kenesha portrayed on social media, her marriage was depicted as perfect, with her husband fully present. In reality, her marriage was filled with phone calls and prison visits, defeating her initial aim of a father figure in her children's lives. However, all these weren't enough to deter 𝐁𝐋𝐈. She constantly expressed her undying feelings for the appointed father of her kids. In fact, on January 17, 2022, marking their one-month wedding anniversary, 𝐁𝐋𝐈 was all over social media. She reassured her newly found husband of her love. She even hired Shanice, a popular singer, to perform a special cameo for Moses. She wanted him to know she appreciated him. "You're an amazing man, an amazing father," she declared. "You are her best friend. She loves everything about you." Good news was on the way for 𝐁𝐋𝐈. Moses was set to be released in September 2022, as long as he behaved well until then. Knowing this wasn't easy for 𝐁𝐋𝐈, she decided to book a 5-night stay at an Atlantic City hotel, upgrading all the packages to suit Moses's tastes. Once again, she took to social media to praise him. Even though she was the one spending all the money, she said, "Happy Father's Day to my kids' father and husband. You provide support, protection, and love to them. They know they can depend on their father. They may not be yours biologically, but you have stepped up from day one," she continued. "We love you, and this is the last Father's Day we would have to spend apart, so I paid for your first trip with me. This is all you've been talking about. Rentals and hotel. Yes, I upgraded all the packages for the king that you are." Moses was finally released on September 12, 2022. 9 months after they tied the knot, the perfect family life 𝐁𝐋𝐈 had envisioned could finally begin, or so she thought. On December 11, 2022, just 6 days before their first anniversary, 911 was called to a location where an intoxicated man had just finished assaulting his wife. It was so serious that if it wasn't, the police wouldn't have been aware in the first place. When the authorities arrived at the scene, they were met with an intoxicated Moses, who had just finished battering 𝐁𝐋𝐈. In fact, it was so bad that 𝐁𝐋𝐈 managed to obtain a firearm to protect herself. Moses was shot in the arm. He was then taken to the emergency room, after which he was charged with second-degree kidnapping. An assault had occurred, yet many believed it was a clear warning for 𝐁𝐋𝐈 to distance herself from the danger. However, this was not her choice. In a surprising move, 𝐁𝐋𝐈 dropped all charges against him, framing the incident as a minor misunderstanding between a couple. 𝐁𝐋𝐈 envisioned a powerful partnership with Moses, determined to make it work at any cost, overlooking that relationships require mutual effort. Moses, a man with a lengthy record, seemed unlikely to be a devoted partner, yet 𝐁𝐋𝐈 took the risk. For a while, it appeared to pay off, but it did not last. On February 14, 2023, Valentine's Day, 𝐁𝐋𝐈 announced to the world they were expecting a baby. Initially, there was much joy and hope. Tragically, they lost the baby months before its expected delivery. Fate intervened once more, and she conceived again. This news brought the couple back together, but their happiness was destined to be brief, though not as one might expect. 𝐁𝐋𝐈 was diagnosed with preeclampsia, a pregnancy complication characterized by high blood pressure and organ damage, usually after 20 weeks. Symptoms include severe headaches, vision issues, and abdominal pain. Without treatment, it leads to complications like seizures and organ failure. The only cure is delivering the baby. This meant 𝐁𝐋𝐈 had to deliver prematurely to save her life. On June 23, 2024, at exactly 30 weeks, it happened. 𝐁𝐋𝐈 Marna Viranili was born prematurely, needing extensive care. Over a month later, on July 24, she brought her baby home, hopeful for a future filled with love. Her siblings and father were to welcome 𝐁𝐋𝐈, but on August 4, 2024, just 10 days later, deputies from the Richmond County Sheriff's Office responded to a domestic dispute at the Neely residence on McCoy Drive, Hoffman, following reports of gunshots. Upon arrival, they faced a locked bedroom door. As they attempted entry, a gunshot echoed from inside, prompting them to kick in the door. After the door was breached, deputies found the bodies of 𝐁𝐋𝐈 Neely and Sheldon Maurice Neely. Both had visible wounds. 𝐁𝐋𝐈 had been shot multiple times by Moses. Before turning the weapon on himself, the scene revealed Moses had opened fire on 𝐁𝐋𝐈 and then inflicted a fatal wound to his own head. This incident marked the tragic end of years of torment that 𝐁𝐋𝐈 endured. Love, though, was a defining factor, compelling her to face the unimaginable. Upon discovering the bodies, the police secured the scene, initiating a meticulous investigation. Forensic experts, summoned to gather evidence, began piecing together the events, leading to the heartbreaking outcome. The investigation revealed a self-inflicted act following a homicide. The police faced the grim task of notifying family and friends of the deceased. This included informing the children's relatives or guardians about the tragedy, a pivotal moment in their young lives. 𝐁𝐈 faced the emotional strain of raising inquisitive children alone, yet she persevered, driven by her passion to love and save lives. 𝐁𝐈 ventured into healthcare, starting as a CNA in clinics and hospitals, She excelled in her early medical career and decided to advance further. By enrolling at Capella University, she aimed for a business administration and healthcare degree. 𝐁𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐃's life found direction, and she established her career. As a licensed bail bondsman, she helped people secure bail while awaiting trial, covering bail for a fee, usually around 10. If the person attended court, the bail was returned, but the bondsman retained the fee. If not, the bondsman risked losing money, sometimes hiring a bounty hunter to locate the individual. 𝐁𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐃 could say she was living her life, yet a part of her felt incomplete, yearning for love and companionship. She desired a partner her girls could see as a father, filling the void left by their absent biological father. Fate, however, had devastating news. Especially given the sudden violent deaths, the 3 children, now orphaned, were taken into care by social services. Child protective agencies ensured the children's safety and well-being, likely placing them with relatives, foster care, or temporary arrangements. Until a permanent solution emerged, providing emotional support and counseling for the children became crucial. Their care was paramount, given the trauma of their loss. In Hoffman, North Carolina, shocked and saddened, neighbors, friends, and acquaintances struggled to cope with the tragedy. Many offered support, condolences poured in for the children and their extended family. Local support groups and counseling services were mobilized to help the community navigate the aftermath. 𝐁𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐃's funeral was set for August 13, 2024. This marked the permanence of her departure. As sorrowful as it seemed, 𝐁𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐃's love had blinded her into believing she could transform. A convict whose only language was violence. While some might quickly assign blame, it is crucial to ground this in practicality. Many of us find ourselves in situations, friendships, and relationships that demand our departure. Yet, for various reasons, we cling to the last thread of hope. It's always easier said than done, but with struggle and determination, one can break free from any violent friendship or relationship into one more deserving. Do you fault 𝐁𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐃 for letting love guide her? Or do you believe she did it for her children, to give them the chance to be raised by a father? Or was it merely her longing for companionship? Your thoughts on these questions, and any additional comments, are welcomed in the comments section once again. Thank you for tuning into the Wednesday True Crime channel. Please like our videos and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Until next time, goodbye for now.